Hi yogis, welcome back to my channel and welcome to your practice today. Giving some love and attention to our hip flexors and psoas muscles, as those can get very tight either from doing different types of exercise, or also can get really tight from sitting. So that can be from driving or sitting at your desk for long hours, and these muscles just kind of shorten and get really tight. And can cause other areas in the hips and the legs to be tight as well. So we'll make sure to give some nice deep stretches into those, as well as bringing in our breath, right? We want to use our breath to support the muscles, manipulating the muscles to kind of soften and relax, create that lengthening and stretching, nice gentle stretching. Our props today will be yoga blocks, and that's it. So let's get started. Let's just get started real quick with just kind of checking in, tuning in with the body. So you can choose already to sit on a block if you want to elevate the hips. We're not going to be here in our Sukhasana pose very long, just enough to kind of give ourselves this moment to unplug from everything else going on in our day, and allowing yourself to really tune into this time that you've decided to do your practice, to hit play and do this for your body as well as the mind and your spirit. And maybe just bringing a mantra in: I allow myself to be present in my body, present with my breath, and present in this time for myself. Let's just take a cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose to the belly. Big open mouth exhale. And opening the eyes. Beautiful. Let's get started down on our bellies. Nope, let me take that back. I was going to start on our bellies, but I was just thinking, no, I think we should do something else first. So we're going to actually come into deer pose. Pardon my little hiccup there. So you can keep your right shin in front of you and bring that left foot back behind you. So we want the front shin parallel with the mat, or if you're on the floor, you just want the knee and the ankle aligned with one another. And then doing the best to do the same with that left leg. So having the knee aligned with the hip as much as you can. So we're focusing right here into that left hip flexor and psoas. The heel can be to the cheek if that's accessible for you, or having a little bit of space in between is fine. And you may find yourself kind of leaning over to the right side a little bit because the legs are really tight, the hips are tight, and that's okay. We're going to make our way into a twist, but just do your best to lengthen up really tall. So somebody's got a string on the crown of your head, lengthening you up nice and tall. And then as you exhale, we're going to twist to the right. So bring that left hand to the right knee and the right hand back behind you, just enough. Doesn't need to be a really huge twist, just until you begin to feel that stretch in that left hip flexor or psoas muscle. Now, most important thing here is we do not want to clench the glutes or squeeze the hips in or tuck the tailbone. We want the whole pelvic floor, the hip girdle, to create space. So we want to work on letting the hips open up side to side, and that will happen when we release the glutes, release the tailbone, and letting the hips just sink down. So letting the hips get really heavy. And once you feel some release, and maybe you even feel a little release in that hip flexor, then you can make your way into the twist a little deeper. So once again, take that inhale to lengthen up nice and tall. And then exhale, maybe just walking that right hand a little further back, drawing that right shoulder back. And then you'll feel that inner rotation of that left hip. And then getting deeper into the psoas once again. And just doing that same check-in. We want to continually check in with the body. So notice again if the glutes have clenched, the tailbone has excessively tucked, releasing any gripping in the hips. And not forgetting to breathe here. So intentional breaths, breathing into that left hip flexor. Coming back to being present. I am present here in my body with my breath. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Last breath. Big open mouth exhale. Good, and we'll slowly untwist, coming forward and switching to the other side. So just bringing all your weight over to that right hip as you slowly swing that left leg around. Let's actually extend both legs out, just kind of give them a little shake. Yeah. And we'll make our way to the other side. So bringing that left shin forward, bringing the right heel back. Right knee is aligned with that hip as much as possible. Left knee and ankle aligned as well. Good. And finding your center here as you inhale, lengthen, and exhale, coming into your twist. Going through all those checkpoints. The glutes, the hips, the tailbone. Opening up that left shoulder. And I always love to encourage to take your time to get into the deepest version of your pose. So finding your edge, but taking your time to get there. We really want to give the body full permission to release and giving it space to do so. So when we just come into a twist right away, our deepest twist right away, we kind of cut the time for the body to have to find release. And in our yin practice, that is what we want to focus on, is slowing everything down and giving the body permission to guide us when to go deeper, not the other way around. So if you've felt that release and you want to go a little deeper, take that inhale, lengthen up even taller, and then exhale, maybe twisting a little deeper by just walking that left hand back. And letting that internal rotation of that right hip occur. Letting both hips be heavy to the earth. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Last breath. Big open mouth exhale. And slowly untwisting, coming forward, all the way over to that left hip as we swing that right leg around. Let's extend both legs out, give them a shake. Very good. And now from here, we'll make our way down onto our belly. We're going to do a little quad stretch, but you'll also feel that lengthening through the hip flexor and psoas. Just move my blocks out of the way. So let's just stack the hands on top of one another. Rest your forehead on the hands and just release the lower back here. Release any gripping going on in the glutes. And let's just take 2 breaths here. So inhale through the nose, send the breath all the way down to the belly. And as you exhale, let the belly soften, the lower back release, releasing any tension. Taking one more breath just like that. Exhaling through the nose. Good. And from here, just lifting the head up, we'll keep our right forearm and palm of the hand on the mat or on your floor. And then with our left hand, we're going to reach back for that left foot or ankle. You can even come up to the toes or all the way down to the ankle, depending on the flexibility in your quad and lower back here. And then resting the forehead back on your hand. Now let that left shoulder just fall towards the earth. So instead of reaching back through that left shoulder, we want to let it be really relaxed. Good. And now take an inhale to the belly. And as you exhale, I want you to gently tuck that tailbone towards the right heel. And right away when you do that, feel that little added lengthening through the quad. And then doing your best as you tuck the tailbone not to clench the glutes. Slowing your breath down here. And if this is still a little difficult to reach for that left foot, you can pause the video and maybe get a scarf or a sport strap of some kind and hook that around the foot and hold the straps in your hand. With each exhale, allowing the body to release a little more. And letting the belly be soft, the shoulders relaxed. And we'll take 3 more breaths here. Let's take a cleansing breath. So inhale, really focus on sending the breath into that left psoas, hip flexor, quad. On the exhale, releasing anything that was stuck or stagnant here. Good. Then we'll slowly release the foot and lower the leg back down, being really careful not to ricochet the leg back down. And we'll stack the hands once again, resting the forehead on the hands. Maybe kind of just shifting the hips side to side, releasing the lower back. And then we'll make our way to the other side. So left forearm down, reaching back with the right foot. Another key thing here is we want to make sure that the knee isn't open to the side. You want to do your best to have the knee aligned with the hip. And then just as we did on the other side, letting that shoulder fall towards the earth. So not reaching it back. And then taking an inhale. As you exhale, tuck the tailbone. Tucking the tailbone just supports the lower back. And then also, of course, gives a little added length through that quad. I'm taking 3 more breaths here. Taking a cleansing inhale and exhale. Slowly releasing that right foot, lowering the leg down. We'll stack the hands once again and gently rocking side to side. And we'll press ourselves up into tabletop for a little cat-cow. So just bring the hands so they're aligned underneath the shoulders. Pressing your hands in as you slowly lift yourself up. Maybe walking the legs in a bit. And before we come into our cat-cow too, just have your blocks and bring them one on each side of your mat or one on each side of you. Good. So cat-cow, shoulders are aligned over the wrist, hips over the knees, feet are hip-width distance, and really spreading the fingers nice and wide, pressing into the earth with the hands. Take your inhale coming into cow, lower the belly, send the tailbone up, reach the heart forward, draw those shoulder blades down the back. And then exhale, pressing away, coming into your cat. Really press away from the earth, pressing the hands and the shins and the tops of the feet into the floor. And then inhale, coming back into your cow. Lengthen through the spine. And exhale, press away. Let's take 2 more of these. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Coming back into our neutral spine. Let's just extend that left leg back. So tucking the toes. Press through that heel as though you're trying to send the heel to the floor. Just a little stretch so the calf, the foot. Good. And then let's take an inhale. We're going to step that left foot all the way up and through. Maybe you use your hand to support bringing it through. And making our way into a low lunge here. So sending the hips forward. And then this is where you can use your blocks and you can change the height of your blocks. So maybe bringing them all the way up. What I want you to be able to do is lengthen through the spine so you're up nice and tall, and then send those hips forward and down, and then you'll feel into that right hip flexor, that right psoas. And then making sure that the glutes aren't clenching. So it might be kind of automatic for the right glute to clench, the psoas, the hip. And we want to create that release, that softening, so that the muscles can lengthen. We can get into the ligaments and the joints. And you also want to make sure that your left knee is aligned over the ankle. Good. And just letting the hips get heavier and heavier, supported here with gravity. Notice if you're kind of sinking down into your shoulders, you want to lengthen, so gently pressing the hands into the blocks just to lengthen up nice and tall. And we'll take about another 7 breaths here, nice and slow. Breathing into that right hip flexor. And if you're on a hardwood floor, you can always use a blanket underneath the knee or maybe double up your mat. Last breath here. Good. And just to give a little release into that leg, let's just press back through the hips. So sending those hips back and then coming on to that left heel. So flexing the foot. I'm just bringing the block back so you can see my foot. You can walk the blocks in a little closer to you, just a little counter pose. And draw the shoulder blades down the back towards the ribs. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Good. Then inhale, coming forward once again into your low lunge, and we're going to make our way into winged dragon. So you can bring the blocks out to the side. Actually, bring them out in front. Good. And then bringing that left hand to the inside of the left foot. You're just going to heel toe that left foot out to the side. And then walking the hands out a little further as you send the hips forward. Now you can open up that left foot even more by letting that left knee fall open and coming on to the outer edge of that left foot. You're going to really feel that in both hip flexors here. Another option is to use your blocks coming down onto the forearms, or maybe you come to bring the forearms all the way to the floor. And take an inhale, lengthen forward. So reaching again like you have a string on the crown of your head and somebody's lengthening you forward. And then draw those shoulder blades down the back. Good. This is pretty deep. If this is a little too deep for you, you can come back to that low lunge. And we'll take 5 more breaths here. And last breath. Inhale deeply, sending that breath into both hips. Big open mouth, exhale to cleanse them. Good. And bringing your hands either to the blocks or to the floor, then moving the blocks out. And we'll slowly send the hips back as you heel toe that left foot back in, bringing the left hand outside of the foot. And then extending that left leg back again, just like we did in the very beginning. Reach that left heel back. Oh man, I'm definitely feeling this today. And then we'll come back into our tabletop. Let's just rotate the wrist a little bit, give them a little attention as we do kind of use them here in these poses. So just kind of rotating through the wrist, doing little wrist circles. And then switching to the other. Very good. Coming back to our tabletop. We'll move our way to the right leg. So extending that right leg back, toes tuck, press through that left heel, right heel. One more breath here. Good. And then we're going to step that right foot all the way up and through, making our way into our low lunge, or also referred to as baby dragon. Modifying here for your body. Making sure that you're lengthening through the spine nice and tall. And then as you exhale, letting those hips drop down, forward and down. Releasing any gripping in that left glute. And letting the shoulders relax down the back. And also make sure that the front foot, that you're grounding down through all four corners. So kind of notice if the weight is kind of shifting more to the outer edge of that right foot. We'll come into that when we do our winged dragon, but right now I'm just going to move the block back. You want to make sure you're grounding down through all four corners. So through the big toe, the pinky toe, and the heel, front and back, or side to side. Taking about 5 more slow, deep breaths here. Making sure that your jaw is relaxed. Don't clench through the teeth or frown in the brow. Softening, softening, softening. Last breath here, cleansing, inhale and exhale. Then taking an inhale as you press those hips back, coming into our runner's lunge or half monkey, flexing that right foot, letting the upper body be heavy here, and just taking 2 to 3 breaths here, a little counter pose. Last breath. And inhale, coming forward once again into your lunge. Setting the blocks to the front of you. Making our way into winged dragon. So bringing that right hand into the right foot and then heel toeing that right foot out to the side. Good. Taking that inhale, lengthen yourself forward. Maybe opening up that right knee to the side or coming on to the outer edge of that right foot. Staying here or coming down to the blocks on the forearms or all the way to the floor on your forearms. Inhale, lengthen forward, drawing the heart forward, drawing the shoulder blades down the back. Coming back to our mantra, I am present. I am present in my body. I am present with my breath. I am here right now. Let's take 3 more breaths here. And this side isn't as tight for me as the other side. I could probably stay here a little longer, but I want to do our best to keep it even, right? Last breath, cleansing, inhale and exhale. And very slowly bringing yourself back up, moving the blocks out. Send those hips back just a smidge as you heel toe that right foot. And then we'll send that right leg all the way back, coming into our counter stretch. Toes tucked, pressing through that heel. Just taking a breath here. Good. And then coming back into our tabletop. Let's just swing the legs over to one side and then come to sit down. And we're going to make our way onto our backs. So just lowering yourself down nice and easy. And let's just bring the feet, soles of the feet together, coming into butterfly pose. Really letting those hips open up, let the hip flexors release. You can even just place your hands right here on your hip flexors. So it's that little flat spot just above the thigh and just below the hip bone. And let the shoulders relax back. Take an inhale through the belly. Exhale, belly softens, lower back releases. And now sending your focus and your energy into your hands, into your hip flexors and psoas. And we all have the ability for or to give healing to ourselves and to others. So while we're here right now, I want you to imagine and feel the sensation of healing energy being sent from your hands into your hip flexors and psoas and the hip area. And that could be in the sensation of feeling heat or coolness or tingling. I allow this part of my body to release any and all tension, stress, fear. I allow this part of my body to heal. And letting any emotions that may come up, let's let them come up. We hold a lot of emotions around the hip area. And when we do deep stretches or deep hip openers, I can often open up the emotions that have been held here. And whether you know what it is or not, and you just feel something coming up, just allow yourself to be with it, let it flow, let it come up, let it release. I allow myself to be present to what is right now at this moment. Let's take a cleansing breath. Big open mouth exhale. And now just slowly extending the legs out, coming into our final pose, Shavasana. You may still feel those hip flexors as you extend the legs. Take up lots of space here, giving them lots of space to just release, to soften, to relax. And then you can either keep your hands here, or maybe you bring the hands out, palms facing up. Let's take a cleansing breath. Big open mouth exhale. Letting the body go. Feeling this energy, this rush or slow energy going through your body, through your hands, your hips, and just letting it continue to flow through the rest of your body. And letting this healing energy integrate into other parts of your body. And I invite you to stay here as long as you need, especially if you're feeling some emotions coming up or you're feeling this energy really doing some work. Just stay here. Allow it to do its thing. Allow yourself to be present to it. And I thank you so much for practicing with me, for doing this practice for yourself, for your body, your mind, and your spirit. May you have peace in your heart, peace in your mind, peace in your body, and peace in your life. Namaste.